Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 22, where I feel like the kid in the candy store because we have fucking money now, which has never happened before, and I'm pretty excited. We could increase ticket prices. Let's do it. Let's increase it another $2. Look, we've been one of the best teams in the National League. Yeah, we haven't, locked it in, but come on. Okay. We did submit in a protection list, but very, very important point is that it's not due till after free agency. It's unlikely we'll sign anybody the first day of free agency, but the fact is you don't actually know. So it means I'm not going to sign anybody the first day of free agency just to be on the safe side. Okay. All that aside. Let's talk about the Pirates. Where could we really use upgrades if we want to be successful? The two most obvious areas are shortstop and left field. Ignore Chris Andrea. He's literally only here because Rosario got hurt. Who otherwise had an exceptional year. So let's talk about who we'd want to replace and why we might want to. Those two are the big ones. Mason Nguyen is 37, and he's actually getting much, much worse over time at shortstop. That's not to say he's not still helpful, but at the end of the day, I think we've gotten what we're going to get out of him, and I'd much prefer to see a better overall shortstop. We could really use some more arms in the rotation. I feel like I've been saying that every single episode, but it's always true. Manny, no. You were like an 80 2 weeks ago. I mean, he is getting better, so I'm not that fussed by it. I'd also go see low scouting actually. Let's see how he looks. We'll do it more time. Somebody said we should just go ahead and trade him. I'm not going to do that. I know he's not perfect, but and it's mostly because of the personality traits. So let's talk about those because it is important to understand how the game works. He has low adaptability, low work ethic, and low intelligence. And these combinations suggest it is unlikely that he'll ever reach his full potential. And that's fine. He is loyal to the team, however, which means he will likely take a pay cut if we want him to stay. I'm not going to trade him yet. And I'm probably not going to trade him until at least we get a couple of seasons under his belt and actually see how he does. It's just too early to give up on him. And the fact is, he's an impact shortstop prospect, and we haven't had one of those in a very, very long time. Probably since Cole Young, actually, is the last time I remember us having a truly exceptional shortstop. In this series, anyway. Before we continue, I wanted to talk a little bit about a comment that somebody made, saying that Andres Avila looks like a DH. One of the things that I really want to see improve in future iterations of Out of the Park Baseball is catcher defense. Let me explain. Unlike every other position in Major League Baseball, being a catcher requires an entirely different set of skills. You don't have to be an elite super athlete. You don't prize speed. You don't prize The ability to make an exciting leap at the wall. You don't prize being able to dive to your left, grab a ball, and fire it to first base, for instance. Those are all skills the catcher doesn't need. Maybe in a perfect role, the catcher has them anyway, but it's something that a catcher just doesn't need. The things that matter for catchers are things like blocking the plate, framing pitches, and I know I talked about this before, but in case you're not familiar, framing pitches is when the catcher receives the baseball, the really great catchers can ever so slightly go boop and make a ball look like a strike. That's framing pitches. And in the day we eventually get robot umps, it'll matter a lot. It won't matter as much, but for now, it's been proven to be a pretty important part of catcher defense. So, going boop and getting that strike, which otherwise might be a ball, is an important skill the catchers have to do. You want them to be able to throw out base runners, although it's important to note that in modern baseball, stealing bases just isn't that important. It's exciting when it does happen, but teams are just not built to steal bases anymore. Nor should they be, in my opinion. Stealing bases was always exciting, but it's rarely, if ever, a smart decision unless you've got a really great base stealer. The one who always pops to my mind is Carlos Beltran. Because he not only stole a lot of bases, but he was smart. Ricky Anderson has the most stolen bases in history and also got caught more times than anyone else in history. He's Ricky Henderson, you should let him do what he wants, but there is a difference there. And the final thing that a catcher needs to be able to do is you need to be able to call a game. Now, that's not true for every baseball team. In some cases, the manager will actually call the game and the catcher just sends the signals. With other teams, with a veteran catcher, the catcher actually calls the game. That depends on teams and different things there. So the three most important skills for a catcher are, and I'll put them in what I think is order: calling the game, framing pitches, and blocking the plate. With drawing out base runners as like a second tier skill. That's 4 critical skills, but 3 of those are all crammed into one skill for OOTP, catcher ability. So yes, if you look at Avila, you see a position rating of 32. Now what that means is that he just needs more experience. This is kind of an experience meter. This will tend to go up over time. Right now, he's a below average catcher just by this, but remember, this is what's holding him back. He's actually not a bad overall catcher, and the fielding stats that we have support this. The zone rating doesn't really matter for catchers. It's not really worth talking about. Catcher ERA has been okay. He doesn't throw out very many base runners. He throws about 25%. So that's not surprising. Looks like he allows around 8 to 10 pass balls a season. And he makes a handful of errors. All this is to say, he's roughly an average catcher. Because this is what the stats we have actually tell us. I'm not going to change these. I'm not going to change these, but these aren't going to really help you. Because range doesn't matter for catchers. It just doesn't. So range factor isn't a great way to address it. Baseball Prospectus, either last year or the year before, started to add framing data that really started to conceptualize things. But the truth of the matter is we don't have great stats for catcher defense in the iteration of OOTP that currently exists. But everything I do see tells me he's an average catcher. Now, the one thing I can't quantify is his catcher ERA trending up because he's a bad catcher, or is it because his pitchers suck? And it could be a little of both. I honestly don't know. But what I do know is that his offense is elite, and he's not so terrible that he cripples the team, and that's why we're going to keep him at catcher. If we get an amazing catcher down the line, or the DH gets unlocked or whatever, we can talk about it. But with this data I do have, which is admittedly not very much, I trust Avila behind the plate. I think he's going to do a great job. And that's just how I feel. So, places to upgrade, rotation, rotation, rotation. If we can get one or two big arms and bump a lot of these people to secondary roles, the rest of the team looks amazing. And that's kind of where we're going this offseason, is I need to get pitchers. An upgraded third base wouldn't be unwelcome, but I'll be honest, Victor Rivera did a pretty good job. Now, you can ask yourself, is this what he is, or is this just a small sample size? I'm happy with him. I don't feel a particular need to rush anybody else to the top. I wish so many of my outfielders weren't lefties, but here we are. Now, it's worth noting that Ramon Ramirez had a great season. And he's still only playing for the minimum, right? So I don't have to replace him. But the fact that we have the money means that there's no longer as good an excuse. Ooh, how did Roman Alvarado do? I don't like the low strikeout rate. This is definitely problematic for a starting pitcher. But he does strike out more than he walks, and he did actually take a quantum leap forward in cutting his walk rate. All that is enough for me to at least give him an opportunity in AAA this year, and to see what he can do with a few more reps. And then, other than that, I don't really see any minor leaguers where I'm like, this man must be called up. We've got a decent bit of depth in the upper minors. Not a whole bunch of people I necessarily would say, oh my god, this is going to transform our team. But we have enough, I think. So what we really need is we need major league players or really, really good prospects. So, let's talk about arbitration. I still feel pretty good about making this decision again, and Danny Lesbron could probably use another chance, but maybe not. No. I've got to non-tender him. Not because of the money, but just because it would just be comically easy to bring him back, I think. Although I think I've actually already made him an offer or whatever. Oh yeah, we're definitely replacing Mason Lynn because he wanted like $12 million and he's not getting that amount of money. The only one I might bring back is Trout, and to be honest, this season he kind of started to suffer toward the end of it. I can probably do better. So we're going to let all these guys walk, and then we're going to make some decisions. I'll offer you a minor league contract today if you want to, John. There is one player I definitely want to consider moving on from because Vince Neely. Vince Neely could be an impact reliever. So I'm not going to get rid of him. That was a dumb thing for me to say. He's not a starter. He never will be a starter. But I think as a reliever, he offers some intriguing possibilities as just a pure strikeout guy. Now, do I need one of those? Not necessarily, but it's worth exploring. And I don't have high-level pitching depth. I just don't. I've got some mediocre starters and some unimpressive bullpen guys. None of whom are really going to move the needle. Alright. Let us go ahead and advance some time a bit. Oh, do I need any coaches? I don't think I do. I do not. Okay. And we're going to sim up to the final award balloting. I mean, I don't have to activate him. I can just release him, but whatever. We got Lespron back because we've got to re-offer him a 1-year deal, so whatever. Alright. You want to become a general manager, do you? You know what? Respect. I hope you enjoy your new time with the Toronto Blue Jays. I wish you could shortlist coaches. I don't think you can. Oh, you can. Cool. I'm not gonna, but that is cool that you can do that. Oh, who got a gold glove? Hey, Sion Rose. Andy Eldridge got one. Continuing my random tradition of getting a gold glove winner and then immediately getting rid of them. Silver Slugger, Avila. And that's it. Just Avila. Well, I'm fine with that, actually. Ooh, Jalen Moore had a great season, and the Cardinals won a lot of games. He's probably going to be MVP. Oh, really? You joined the Las Vegas Trojans, huh? Who the hell are the Las Vegas Trojans? I need to check my teams. I don't remember a team moving to Las Vegas. I probably made a comment on it at the time, but for right now... Or were they an expansion team? Oh, they were. They joined the league when Jacksonville joined. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to stand in your way. I think you're kind of silly, but I'm not going to stand in your way. Let's bring in Jeff Bridich to be my assistant GM. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a chance at MVP. I kind of wish we did, but we don't. Just because a team that won 100 games had the player with more WAR than Avila, so... I'd be surprised if Avila doesn't finish top 3, though. I think he'll definitely finish at least 3rd, but I don't think he won it. And I know he didn't because I didn't get the little email. Yeah, he finished 2nd. I'm actually surprised Peralta finished 3rd. That's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Jalen Moore was hit 50 fucking homers as a 3rd baseman. And his team won over 100 games. So that's a pretty crazy combination. There's no way I wasn't going to get it. And I didn't have anybody get a vote for Cy Young, nor should I. Let's start putting together protection lists. Alright, let's get the easy ones. Boop, 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 boop. I'm already getting rid of Heasted. He doesn't have a contract for next season because I non-tendered him. So if someone wants him, they can have him. Ramon Ramirez. You know, I don't want him to leave until I have a replacement for sure, so I'm going to protect him too. Rosilio, yes. Trout, no. Sosby, I don't care. Now, that's an interesting idea. No, I'm not going to trade him. I know he is 30, but he's been a consistent offensive producer every season until this one. And if we look at his... where is his Babeep. Oh, you know what? I think it's actually on the first page. No, it's not. It's on the second page. I just saw it. Here it is. Yeah, this is way below his career norms. I'm gonna keep him. I'm not gonna leave him exposed just to get out of his contract because I don't think his contract's that bad. Meyer can stay. I don't care about Mike Dial, really. Mason Wynn's leaving anyway. I mean, Mike Dial is a reasonably good pitcher. I'm going to come back to some of these relievers once I see... Oh, I said yes to Salix Brown. Sorry. I'm going to come back to these relievers once I've filled out the rest of the roster. Orlando Vite, yes. Nate Brooks, definite yes. Victor Rivera, yes, because for right now he's a starter. Nate Hurd, I gotta be able to do better than him. He can walk. I'm going to try to get a better backup catcher, too. I'm not going to keep Paredes either. Okay. I genuinely don't see 25 people here that I desperately feel like I need to keep. To be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and keep a Dial, Poindexter, Logan, Wilcox, and Sloan. Definitely Josh Pike gets kept. I'll keep Buckwalter too, I guess. David Gonzalez, absolutely. Let's make sure there's not any high potential guys that might walk. I don't really care about Sosby. I thought it would bother me more. I'll keep Guanqui. I went out of my way to acquire him, so I might as well. Arneson, yes. I'll keep Lesbron, I guess. He's still not awful, and I definitely want that. Vinny Rodriguez definitely stays. He's kind of important to me. He's my emotional support utility infielder. And then we're getting like into the dregs right now. I don't really see anyone else here that I feel like I have to keep. So I guess we'll keep Chris Dake and Jody Kremer. And submit. Hall of Fame season. Oh, yeah. Ooh, we could do some posting if there's somebody worthwhile. This is the only guy I'm looking at, and I'm like, he's borderline acceptable, and I'm still not going to go for him because I don't need another pitcher like this. And you're an awful catcher, so you won't solve my backup catcher problem. Alright, got 10 spots on the ballot. Let's go to the first-timers first. Aaron Savali, no. Relievers, double no. Logan Gilbert, absolutely not. Keston Hiura, your name is ridiculous, and you suck. Nope, nope, nope. Grandson of Wind is a pretty great name, but still nope. Nope, nope. 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 Yes. I would vote for Gleyber Torres just because hitting over 400 runs, homers as a shortstop is pretty impressive. Alright, that's all done. Let's go back up to the top and let's start picking players to vote for. Xander, you got to make it this year. You're too damn good to have needed even 3 years to make the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. I'll go for Arenado, too. Yeah, DeGrom and Garrett Cole are two of the best of their thing here. I'll go for Rafael Devers just because of his sick home run total from a third baseman, which is pretty crazy. DJ LeMahieu, I think, deserves it. Jose Ramirez, of course he does, because he's amazing. Real Muto, I think, deserves it. And then we'll go Anthony Rendon, and that'll be my ballot. Free agency filings. This is apparently not a great year for starting pitchers, which does somewhat concern me, but we'll figure it out. And then just go ahead and take you to the expansion draft, because I don't really want to do anything until that's done. And then we're going to do start draft, complete draft. I'm just going to hit no, and then they'll figure it out. So, which Pittsburgh Pirates departed our roster? I wonder. I don't recognize any names so far. Are we that bad that everyone's just like, nah, fam? Oh, there goes Nate Hurd. That's the first Pirate I recognize. Nate Hurd is literally the only name I recognize there. If I check out complete transactions log. Oh, Tony Paredes got drafted too. Okay. I'm fine with both of them leaving. And now we can do free agency. Okay. No. Oh man, Billy. That's not $30 million. Not when your control is that bad. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, if you look at his numbers here, it looks like his walk rate has actually been fairly reasonable. He keeps the ball down, he strikes lots of people out. No, I'm not taking players that are wrecked. Try again. Like, the lull value of bringing on Fernando Tatis is not worth the fact that he's just not, frankly, a very good player at this stage in his career. Man, this is some grade A bullshit where I've got this unique opportunity to invest a lot of money in my team and there's no one really worth investing in. That's kind of a downer. Now, past Abby would just go, oh my god, he's an amazing player, I must have him, and ignore his injury history, but I can't do that anymore. Oh, well, first of all, it would fucking help if I had my scouting. I didn't even look at any players, and it still reset the scout thing. That is annoying. Alright, back we go. Alright. If we're going to make a splash, Billy Manzo is the kind of player that we'd want to make a splash on. And his statistical record supports the fact that he'd probably have a pretty good career with us. That is not disputable. What is disputable is the fact his control is superficially quite low. But it hasn't hurt him yet. And at a certain point, you have to ignore ratings and trust the stat record. And the stat record tells us he's an incredibly competent pitcher who's an Iron Man and is likely to give us the innings we desperately needed. I really don't like the idea of giving him that big a contract, though. That's too many years, in my opinion. And just because I'm going to have more money doesn't mean I can afford to waste it. But on the other hand, he's the cream of the crop, right? He's the best of the options available to me. Let's call it a 6-year deal with the team options at the end of it. There's a guarantee there. Okay, he's down to 6 years, but he doesn't want to give me a team option. A 6-year deal would take him until he's 37. He has been an Iron Man. His contract's going to be impossible to get rid of, though. But I keep coming back like there isn't a better pitcher on this market. And there's not a guarantee there'll be a better one next season either. Let's come back to you. Oh, Sam Riddle. Riddle's a lot less money. His movement isn't great, but he's been pretty consistent as well. But he's also 35. And that is an issue. Alright, let's start with looking at shortstops. Let's maybe try to solve that issue first. I'm seeing a lot of players that got injured a lot. Hey, it's Gavin Guidry. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anybody here that I'd be willing to open the checkbook for. I mean, we bring back Gavin Guidry. It only costs us $1.7 million, and he's still a good defender. He just can't hit anymore. I don't want Rure back because he's not a great shortstop, and I'm not spending $13 million for mediocrity. Just because I have the money doesn't mean I want to waste it. We could bring back old friend Theo Gillen, but again, I don't want to overpay for mediocrity, and he still wants more than $10 million. I don't want Mason Nguyen back, to be honest with you. John Mitchell is a perfectly serviceable shortstop. He's cheap. He's not an exemplary shortstop, but he's good enough. And he's even an okay hitter. I'm looking to see if there's not like an elite hitter who's also a great defender, and I'm not seeing one. So we're going to go ahead and offer John Mitchell a contract. That was easy. Next, I want to look at catchers, specifically backup catchers. Hi, Eric Terra. You're awful. I'm not spending $10 million on a backup catcher. You can fuck right off with that. I kind of like the idea of bringing in Mike Brinkley. He looks like a good overall catcher who's both a decent hitter and an okay fielder. Ooh, but look at Brooks Wright. He's an outstanding defender who still has just enough bat. No, I think we're going to take Mike Brinkley. I think he's a pretty solid choice as a backup catcher. So that's 2 positions sorted. I also have one other player I'd really like to get my hands on. I'd like to get all of my hands on him. Don't tease me, bro. There was an incredible relief pitcher that was like $4 million. Unless someone already grabbed him. Maybe they did. Alright. Starting pitcher. What do we got here? Who are my people here? No. I can't sign him just because of the name. I can't. Billy. Okay, John Defranco seems like a pretty solid choice. He's reasonably inexpensive, and he's a pretty good, well-rounded starter who does everything well. His home run rate did tick up, but I'm hoping that maybe it'll tick back down with the Pirates. With Brooks and Sweet, we have a pretty solid start to the rotation. I just need a couple of really big names. Is Manzo good enough? Damn it, he is. That's what I keep coming back to. If any pitcher is worth more than $30 million, it's Manzo. Now, just because we have more money doesn't mean we have infinite money. And we are going to be getting arbitration due dates coming soon for the big 3. I mean, Avila, Peral, and Rosrio all get arbitration starting next season. Are they still being hard? You just want a 1-year deal. Peral just wants a 1-year deal. And Avila just wants a 1-year deal. So I can't even get him to sign long-term deals right now. Alright. If we don't have a big name starting pitcher, and I don't have one developing in the minors either, that's a very key point we can't let slide. I don't have a big name starting pitcher hanging out in the minors ready to take over. I got quite a few people hitting arbitration for the first time here soon. That's a bit yikes, but we'll figure it out. Billy. How can you do this to me? How can you want so much damn money? Now, I don't have to spend this money. That's an important consideration that we need to keep in mind. I am not required by law to spend this money. I can keep some of it. Because next year, arbitration is going to be very expensive. But if I don't get a big name starting pitcher, I just don't think we've got a chance at advancing in the playoffs this year. And here's the thing. I absolutely 100% believe that if I don't sign him, somebody else will. What if I did a 4-year deal? No, Nye wants over $40 million for 6 years. You know, I've negotiated with him enough to the point where unless someone else signs him, he'll come back to me. I can't afford it. I can't spend that much money on one player, no matter how good they might be, unless they were, like, incredible. John Defranco, on the other hand, is a much more reasonable addition to the roster. Let's offer Defranco a contract. Ask for a response, submit offer. What about Senor Hunt here? He's actually a legitimately pretty good pitcher that just looks like he's never been given opportunities. But I still think I'll pass. I mean, I could bring in Steve Myers, who is basically Billy Manzo for way less money. Okay, I'm going to offer a deal to Jake Whitlock as well. I know he is fragile, but he's a pretty cheap price tag, and there's a chance we can rebuild him. We can make him stronger and better. And otherwise, he's got a fair bit of arm talent. He does want a 3-year deal. That's not going to happen, mate. Not without at least one team option in it. I'm going to pick whether I keep you or not. So none of these are big-time contracts, but I think they're all going to move the needle a decent bit. Is there a big-name reliever here? Somebody who could really prove to be exceptional. Not really. Oh, I forgot about Juan Rosillo. He actually was a free agent, wasn't he? He actually wasn't that great, was he? No, we'll just replace him with an internal option. I'm good for now. I do want to shortlist Manzo to see if somebody else grabs him, because I'm pretty sure they will. It's a bit of a letdown, wasn't it? We had all this money to spend, and we just didn't have anybody worth spending it on. Okay, Billy Manzo went to Boston. And how much money did he get? He got every penny he wanted. A little bit less, but that's still way too much for our blood. That's gone. Oh, apparently John Defranco's a bit of a jerk. I guess I should have known that. Alright, we locked in a couple of important signings. So that's good news. And Pike's gonna go find a guru. Okay. You do you. You do you, bro. You do you. All right. Let us proceed forward. Venezuela does have a lot of fruit. I'm just kidding. So if I'm not going to be investing in free agents very heavily, let's spend the money we've got, right? Let's max out player development and scouting. There's no reason not to, right? It's like I can spend the money on anything else. And I still have a good bit to pursue a couple of free agents if some fall into my lap. Rule 5, Tom. I have 32 players on my roster. If there's anyone I want to save, this would be a good time to do it. I'm going to put Burton and Price on there. I think they're both pretty talented pitchers that might have a shot at making the Major League roster. I genuinely don't see anyone taking Jimmy Arneson. I don't think he's a good enough pitcher for anyone to consider plucking from my Rule 5 draft. I don't feel great about any of these relievers, to be honest with you. If one of them walked, I think I'd be fine with that. And we can hopefully grab a couple of role players in the Rule 5 draft. That would make me very happy. Make me very happy. I really want that shortstop, though. Give me my damn shortstop. Meh. Oh, very important question. Is Fernando Tatis still available? He is not. Somebody signed him for lots of money. That's understandable. Really. Oh, you know, he might be flagged as a third baseman, actually. I can't remember. Man. Poor Kemp Alderman. Like, every season, he hits the shit out of the baseball, and every season he has to find a new home. I feel bad for the guy. It's like seeing like a homeless puppy, right? You want to bring him home. But I can't afford him. I've already got a great catcher, and he doesn't play defense all that well. Also, note Zion Rose has a Gold Glove and a All-Star appearance in his entire career. So, yeah. Anyway. I feel like I'm being mean by picking on Zion Rose so much. It's not intentional. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I guess I kind of am. Alright, Rule 5 draft. Show me the players. Auto draft. Well, I was wrong. I could have sworn to myself that I would ever take Jimmy Arneson, and they did. Makes you feel kind of silly. Let's sort by potential. I'm trying to look for anything that isn't a reliever. Dave Heineman. Oh, dear Lord. Actually, I would consider taking him if I needed a first baseman, but I don't. Nope. There's just nobody good here, is there? That's a disappointment. Man, just go ahead and do the entire draft, yo. Oh, that's hilarious. The Yankees signed Juan Rosillo and then exposed him to the Rule 5 draft. That was pretty dumb of them. I'm a little grumpy about losing Arneson, but not a huge amount. I don't think his ceiling is very high, but maybe he'll impress. And maybe I'll get him back. I mean, we really don't know that. Would my jerk shortstop and my jerk backup catcher just sign their damn deals? Thank you. And then you both get promoted to the big leagues, because that's how I roll. I'm not saying John Mitchell is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm saying he's good enough to be... Like, yeah, he's a bit error-prone, but I think he's good enough to stand around a shortstop for a season or two while I keep my options open for the future. I could look at left fielders, I guess. I didn't think of that. Is there an outstanding outfielder? An outstanding outfielder? Potter's not too bad, but what about this gentleman from Macau? Oh, hell no. Nope. Yeah, I don't think Boddicker moves the needle enough, to be quite frank. I don't think he's good enough to play every day at left field and make a big impact. He did last season. That's for certain. Maybe actually you would be worth acquiring. Like, that's a solid all-around bat paired with an incredible ability to get on base. It would cost me a first-round draft pick. No, I'm not doing that. Not for a first-round draft pick. Chad Moore, on the other hand, our old pal, didn't used to play for me way back in the day. You did. I actually wouldn't mind bringing him back. We do need a backup center fielder that I can trust, and Moore is that, if nothing else. And he doesn't cost very much money either. Sure, you can have a no-trade clause. I really don't care. I'm just going to keep you for the whole season, and then I'll let you walk at the end of it. Do let me know in the comments if you think I ought to have opened up the checkbook for Manzo. I still don't think I should have, but I'll be curious to hear what y'all think and see if it's something that you might be interested in. Wow, Houston. People are really spending a lot of money on bad catchers. I forgot about Chris Sale. That's on me. Really? Why are the Hall of Fame voters being such assholes? Besides the ones in real life, like the jackasses that submit blank ballots. I hate them so much. But yeah, this is really weird. I'm genuinely surprised that Bogarts is waiting this long. Curious. Anyway. Damn, Sosby. Wow, Chad Moore is just really like... Yeah, I'm gonna wait till last possible second. Oh my god, what did you do to your beard? Did you just see like a whole bunch of hot dogs and you got mustard smeared all over your face? Like, get a napkin, bro. Okay. Worry about all this later. We're gonna sim up to the start of spring training. One upgrade I might want to talk about is, do we keep Lespron? Or do we move on? Is that the new normal for Mr. Lespron? Or was it just really bad luck? Only majors, please. No, it wasn't bad luck. That's for damn sure. His walk rate went up. His strikeout rate went down. He just didn't hit very well. That's annoying. Maybe bringing in another outfielder to compete with him wouldn't be the worst idea, but I'm willing to just let it slide for right now. Damn, Eldridge got paid. I feel like I've kind of let you all down, but the truth of the matter is there just wasn't any really good risks in the draft that or the free agency that was worth spending my money on. Manny Pozo is finally in the minor leagues, which means I would like to control him completely. And I definitely want him shortlisted too. Okay, he already is. Great. Great. Alright, spring training time. Aldridge, I'll give you a shot in spring training. Rondon and Logan can have shots. Josh Neal can get some reps, I guess. I don't want to invite Tian to spring training because he'll just decline to be sent down. Yeah, I'm not gonna make you a backup catcher. You're not good enough. Eric Corrigan is going to get an invitation to spring training. He's a pretty amazing relief pitcher. Rusty, if you were a lefty, I would very strongly consider Or righty, I'd strongly consider giving you an opportunity. Alas, we can see how you do going forward. Anybody else worth giving some spring training reps to? Maybe Jordan Jimenez can have some spring training reps. I think that's reasonable. Julio Perez, you're going to Double A. I just don't think you're going to have an amazing career yet, but I think you're getting there. For sure. And you're a righty, so that's another role you might be able to fill in the not too distant future. TJ McCannon. That's a pretty great name. I don't care who you are. That's a pretty great name. You know, Chris Merrill is creeping up my radar as a possible future shortstop. We're going to disable AI demotion and promotion, and we're going to test him in high A this year. Because he's low-key not far from making the majors. Way closer than I thought he'd be. So let's give him a test this season and see if he can turn out to be a good one. Alright, I'm fine with this as is. Let's go ahead and let everything get set up. As is tradition, 6-man rotation per spring training. I frankly don't know why Nate Brooks all of a sudden is my number 5 starter, but I'm going to accept it for right now. Lean oops. Really? Why is Neil... No game. No. Mitchell. Don't start the great defender over the terrible hitter. Or over the good hitter. I don't know why you do that. Oh, that's an interesting decision. Bumping Peral to left field? No. Peral is in center. Ramirez is in left. Don't be fucking stupid. Quit outthinking yourself, game. I am not I'm not benching Ramirez just so that Moore can play center. When Peral is a perfectly serviceable center fielder and is way more valuable there. This looks good. Let us go ahead. I think I could turn the heat off. Actually quite chilly today. It's the first time all year here in Texas. I'm recording this on January 2nd, by the way, but it's the first time here in Texas that it's actually gotten close to freezing, which is pretty wild. Well, I guess we still want it to warm up a little bit more. Okay. A sore elbow in your very first pitching appearance. If that isn't Pirates, I don't know what is. That is peak Pirates. Are you serious, game? You're gonna make me wait even more for my pitcher to come back? Maybe the trade market is a refund our ace. Because free agency is certainly not where it's gonna come from. I'll have to find somebody that I want to trade and see what kind of starting pitcher I might be able to grab. We'll do that on opening day. Or after spring training, rather. I don't have to wait till opening day, but... Player development. Any big changes in the right direction? Sweet got better. Look at Roybal Streeter adding a new pitch and throwing harder. Okay. That's very intriguing to me. That makes him a lot more valuable, I think, in a lot of ways. A few upgrades there. John Defranco's losing his velocity, so he's actually already looking like not a great deal, but that's fine. Rosrio's getting better at power hitting, which is great news. And everything, all the rest of it just seems like it's kind of the same. Alright. So, let's send the last game of spring training, and then let's start working on the roster. Before we do anything else, I would like to check the trade block and see if anyone is offering a premier starting pitcher. I can't even trade for you if I wanted to, and I'm definitely not going to trade for a guy who's undergoing reconstruction surgery. That's just silly. Jose Zamora isn't that exciting, but he does look like he's a pretty decent pitcher. I was hoping I could find somebody who is really great all around. Like Cameron Buchanan seems like a pretty solid choice. But still not exceptional. And they all have bad injury histories is the other thing I'm noticing here. I mean, not Joe Dietz. Joe Dietz is pretty solid. He just hasn't pitched well when given the opportunity is the problem. Yeah, I think I'm good with what I've got. I don't really see anybody here to get excited about. It's fine. It's fine. You're a pretty solid catcher. I wonder if I could get you for cheap. You can have Victor Acevedo. And let's get you shortlisted, but you have a very high probability of going to the majors in the very near future, Mr. Vrabel. So that's that. And let's start getting the roster set up. I have 25 fucking pitchers right now. We don't need 25 pitchers. I feel pretty confident at saying that. I feel pretty confident that 25 pitchers is too much. Alright, so let's look for the clear worst performers. Alright, Jeremy Zunk. Later, dude. You gone. So we keep running into the same issue, which is that I don't have any good... Oh, we have Chris Logan as a lefty. Yeah, Wilcox, you can go to the minors. Poindexter, I'd like you to get some more reps. Neely, I'm still not convinced you can't be a starter. Kennedy can go to the minors. Jimenez, you need some more reps in the minors. Corrigan, you're going back to the minors. That gets me down to 18, so I gotta go to 5 more pitchers. Logan to the minors. No, I need Logan. He's my lefty. I'd love to sound down Book Walter, to be honest with you, but I don't think he can. I think he'll refuse. And he's still not useless. He's just not as good as some of the others. Fleischmann to the minors. Rondon to the minors. Streeter, you're still developing just enough that you could end up being a starter. Especially if you're adding new freaking... Where did Streeter go? He just vanished. Poor guy. Wait, seriously, where did he go? I randomly set him as a DH instead of as a pitcher. That was not my intent. There we go. Yeah, Streeter's got just enough upside where I don't want to give up on him as a starter yet. And that means he's going to pitch in the minors. We can try to get him some reps and see if he can turn into the starter that he might be one day. Logan, you're going to make the 40, man, just because I don't have any other left-handed relievers right now. Josh Pike is, again, a guy who could be a starter. So we're going to let Pike go to the minors and work on his craft there. Down to 14. Got to get rid of at least one more pitcher, maybe 2. Josh, you had a really rough Major League debut. Let's get you some more experience in the minors and then call you up when you're a bit more polished. That's 13 pitchers, and I think that's fine. I think that's what we're looking for. So, clear the pitching staff. And let's look at pitching ratings. Sui is quite clearly the ace. We all know this. And then we're going to do Nate Brooks as number 2. Then Defranco is number 3. No, sorry. Whitlock as number 3. Defranco is number 4. And Vite is number 5. That's your starting rotation with Buck Walter as first man up in the event of an injury. Looking at relievers now. I mean, Mike Brunmeyer is pretty clearly the best pitcher in the bullpen. I guess it does make sense to make him an 8th+ closer. He's got a little bit too much stamina to not bring him in all the time. I might even make him a stopper and let somebody else be the actual closer just so I get the most innings out of him. But I think this is fine for right now. J.R. Myers did a pretty great job toward the end of last season as the closer, so we can make him a setup man. Chris Logan is our lefty specialist. Garrett Price, you're going to be middle relief specialist, but you're going to be used... I'm going to have you avoid high leverage. I want you to build up your abilities. You're just going to be kind of just another arm right now. And then everyone else is going to be middle relief. With Butch Mangum also landing long relief as his secondary role. That looks good. That looks like a good pitching staff. I feel pretty happy about that. Lineup's got 18 players. 5 gotta go. Guanqi minors. Josh Hotch, definite minors. I kind of like keeping Josh Neal on the roster just because it gives us another infielder who can handle himself at either second or short. And then we got Vinny Rodriguez who can handle everything, basically. So we're going to go ahead and keep Josh Neal on the roster. Plus I can have him sub in for Mitchell late in the innings. Okay, we got way too many outfielders. That doesn't surprise me, though. Dan Aldridge, go to the minors. That sounded really mean. I'm sorry, Dan. Gonzalez. Why do you have such like a super bright future? Oh, because you can also play first, can't you? That may get you a roster spot. I haven't decided for sure yet, but that may have gotten you a roster spot. Les Prawn to the minors. I can't carry 6 outfielders is the problem. Unless I go super cheap on infield, and I don't think I can afford to do that. So I think we're going to go ahead and send David Gonzalez back to the minors. All right, so here we go. That's the team. Did I put Josh Neal on the 40-man? I did. Okay. Let's kill it all. Okay, batting ratings. I mean, look, Andre Sevilla is the new number 3 hitter. I can't keep letting him hit anywhere else. He's too good. He's too damn good. Nick Rosario hits cleanup, and Ricky Peral hits 5th. There's the heart of our order. Garrett Gunnels bats 2nd, and Salix Brown leads off. I still believe in Brown, but I'm getting to the point where I don't believe in him anymore, but we'll see. We will see. Victor Rivera is a good choice at 6th. Ramon Ramirez hits 7th. Peral, you're playing center. Stop being silly. And then John Mitchell bats 8th. No, I'll bat Ramirez over Rivera. I think that's reasonable. Okay. Backups. In the corners, Mr. Andrea. And I think we'll also let him back up at first. Mike Brinkley backs up at catcher. Vinny Rodriguez backs up at 3rd and is secondary backup at the other middle infield positions. Actually, Rodriguez is a really good second baseman, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Okay, so we'll do that. And then we'll do that. And that. And that. And that. Nope, that. There we go. The reason I'm not making Brinkley the backup for Avila in terms of defensive stuff is I don't want Avila taken out of the game when the game is on the line. That's just silly. Chad Moore backs up at center and is going to cover the other two outfield positions if we need them. Number one pinch hitter is Chad Moore with a bullet. Chad Moore is also our pinch runner. After Moore, it's Andrea. And then Vinny Rodriguez. And Josh Neal can be a backup pinch runner. There we go. And then we're going to do copy, copy, paste, paste, switch. And Ramirez gets to rest against left-handed pitching. I think this is good. I think this looks like a pretty solid lineup. Oh, and then you can set things up any way you like against DHs. Oh, look, you bench Neil. I definitely predicted that. The game's obsession with playing defense over offense is just ridiculous to me. I bet it's actually, if I look at my bench coach, no, he favors offense over defense. I don't know why he's like that, but whatever. Okay. I think that gets us ready for opening day. Wants you to make the playoffs. Pozo's now the number 8. And it's opening day. Our team hasn't changed that much, but we've made significant upgrades to the rotation. It's still not super deep. It still isn't perfect. Sorry, it's really deep, but it's still not very top-heavy. And that's the problem we keep running into. But unfortunately, even with all the money in the world, I wasn't going to waste our money on a starter that I didn't think could hang out. And that's why I didn't do it. Again, you can share in the comments if you think I made a mistake. If you think I ought to have gone for that gentleman whose name I've already forgotten. But you're a big fat maybe. I don't know how good you'll end up being, though. I don't like your thing there. But we did adding Whitlock and Defranco gives us a much stronger rotation with a lot more depth to it. Our bullpen is pretty solid. Hopefully Logan does a better job than Wilcox has last couple of seasons. And probably the most important thing that we've got now is we've got a lot more depth on the bench. Chad Moore is probably going to be grumpy that he's not starting. But he adds desperately needed depth in the outfield. We have Chris Andrea, who is, if nothing else, an accomplished hitter that can give Ramirez a break against left-handed hitting. We still have the core, right? We still have the big three that are continuing to develop and get better. And we have a pretty high upside bullpen with some reinforcements on the way. The most important player on the Pittsburgh Pirates this season is someone who's not even in the Major League roster. It's Roman Alvarado. If Alvarado can take a leap this year, he's going to be something special and really help us out here. Josh Pike is very, very deserving of a chance to be a starter. He's just not there yet. And I don't really know who I would bench just to bring him on. I mean, I guess I could bench Butch Mangum, but whatever. But yeah, we have a decent amount of high minor depth, and we have a decent amount of top quality pitchers in various aspects of their careers who could all be quite useful someday. And are we going to get back to the playoffs? Maybe. Probably. There's one last thing I want to do before we end the episode. I want to talk to Nate Brooks and see what he... No, he doesn't want a multi-year deal. That's fair. That's fair. Like, I'm not saying I can't try to offer these guys the big deals. I'm just saying they probably won't take them. Just for fun. 5 years. And we're going to backload the hell out of this deal. Like, let me be clear, even at $18 million, Avila would be a steal. Nope. Yeah, I'd have to offer him more each year to get him to consider it. And that's fine. I'm not really that annoyed by that. I'm going to wait a little bit then and see how our... Let's go do, like, 5 years for $15 million. Or even 6 years for $14 million. Nope. Yeah, I'd have to basically really backload the deal, like give him like 20 or even 30 million at the back end of it, which I just don't think is a good look. All right, let's talk. 6 years. Oops. And then 15 million in year... There. Again, 6 years, he'll be 31. If he's going to be worth 16 million, it's going to be that year. Nope. Rosario, will you be the one who I can actually negotiate with and get a decent long-term contract out of? 6 years... let's go 10 million for years 2 and 3. 13 million for years 4 and 5. And then 16 million for year... There. Nope. Literally everybody was going to be like that. I had to try, though. Nate Brooks, I'd like you to give me 4 more years. And I'll even give you another $1 million each year. Does that work for you? It does not. Well, I'm trying to get people to sign for below market, and it's not working, and I don't blame them for it, but it is a little annoying that not even one person will just even talk to me about it. Yeah, I'm not giving you an extension until I'm determined that you actually deserve it. Okay. Well, friends, I think that's going to go ahead and end the episode for us. I know we didn't spend a lot of money this offseason. We spent some. right? We spent $12 million on Defranco, $8 million on Whitlock, $4 million on Moore, and then a couple million on Mitchell, and a bit less than that on Brinkley. None of them are necessarily like World Series winning moves, but I'm hoping in the aggregate that we do okay. But that's going to be it for today. Until next time, this has been F Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.